monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
If anybody asked, was Chuck hitting on blank? The answer was yes.
Yes. Answer was
the
yes.
answer to the question.
Yeah. I figured the answer would be
polyamory, not just for breakfast.
Kinda. What was some of your lines, Chuck? Your hit on lines.
I didn't have any fucking lines. I'm an improv guy.
Did you?
I just
Yeah, he's the Colin Mockery of pickup lines.
Whose pickup line is it anyway?
I see him more of as a Wayne Brady.
Where the points don't count, nothing matters.
Pretty much.
Oh,
That's
was
kind of how
fantastic.
that went.
That's a perfect way to throw in here. We're going to go live.
Let's do it.
Oh, yes.
Welcome, everybody, to the 224th episode of the Angry Cuddles podcast. My name is Steven.
It is?
And when I was a young boy, I grew up in an orphanage in the inner city. I broke out of the orphanage and ran away and started doing odd jobs for the Italian mafia. As I started to grow through the ranks of the Italian mafia, the Irish mafia tried to poach me, and I kind of let them. So I started playing both sides against each other with the help of the town undertaker, who now business was booming for the undertaker. It ended up in a violent bloodbath in which only I and the undertaker were the sole survivors. And when we survived, his gift to me was the first mic that I ever used to podcast.
Wow.
Joining me today is Chuck.
My name is Chuck. You know me as DJ Pikachuck, but in another life, like 15 years ago, I was a legitimate DJ, and I came this close to touring with Paul Oakenfold. And you know what happened? I had to choose.
You hit on his girl?
I hit on his girl. I hit on his motherfucking girlfriend, even though I knew
whom
that
he
son of
thought
a
was
bitch
his
had,
ex.
had 5 side chicks, like, strewn about the world. And I was like, you know what? You've got plenty. Share the wealth. And he's like, no, fuck you. You're going to go back to school, high schooler. So, you know, I had to go back and live a life of normalcy. Unfortunately, that life included me going back to Liberty Hill, Texas, a tiny little town just outside of Austin, where I picked up my hat. This hat's name is Clint Eastwood. And I had to go.
I like the song.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, God damn it. Yes, it was very much like the song because I forgot I produced the Gorilla's first album with Dan the Automator.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, Dan's a pretty cool guy. I helped him learn English. Anyway, I had to go and be a rancher for about 6 or 7 years, and then one day I was making a trip out with a couple of herds, and we got some blue lightning, and I lost half the herd. And I couldn't deal with it anymore after that. So I went back to the big city. I finished college. And then that's when I picked up with this guy right here, old blue hair himself. I call him Blue Lightning now. And,
I like that
name. It kind of hits me right here. It hits me right here because on the good side, you know, it's Blue Lightning. That's a badass name. But on the bad side, it kind of reminds me of the herd that I lost during that last drive. And so that reminds me of where I came from and where I know I need to be going.
Perfect.
Wow.
Also joining us today is Will Roth.
Hi, everybody. My story is simple, like most. I grew up on a farm about 1,000 years ago, and it was only then that a witch hunter came and found me and trained me in the ways of witch hunting.
Ooh.
I spent my days roaming the countryside, ridding it of all evil until I came upon a lady vampire who seduced me. She turned me into one.
Like you do.
Like you do. I lived for 1,000 years.
She turned you into a lady vampire?
She turned me into a lady vampire.
It turned you into a vamp.
Yeah. So then I lived for the next 1,000 years until about modern day, and then I realized I couldn't be a witch hunter out in the open, so I pursued private investigation as a guise for hunting witches.
Okay,
And
all right,
here I am
perfect.
now.
Just so I can say, all right, you should have started with the hat.
Closer,
first.
can't hear you.
I'm trying to do something here.
I know.
Like, you should have started with this hat first, even though it looks kind of weird with you still wearing your headphones because
Yeah.
you were the mafioso, and then I was the heartbroken rancher,
Yeah.
and now you are the witch hunter. So this hat,
Yeah.
you know, 3 different people, 3 different stories, same
true.
hat.
I want to try this on.
You know, we need an origin story on the hat now. Shit.
Also joining us today is Shark.
Before
I like it.
before words and
I'm reading
time existed, there was space and stars. Before space and stars existed, there was the void and a cat. But not just any cat. Nay, 'twas the first of all things, the thing of which all things were inspired by or made opposite of in varying sizes and degrees.
Please tell me it's non-cat. Please tell me it's non-cat.
All cats, however, even cosmic ones, grow bored of emptiness, pausing to ponder if he should create something to fill the void besides the few stars and planets he'd created thus far. He was content for the moment, however, purring a sweet, rumbling song through the want of what would soon be the galaxy. I have typos. A soft sensation, a tickle at first, then something greater, tiny at first, growing more insistent, sending a quiver through fur-covered shoulders as the filling swelled. A cough. Hacking.
A romantic origin story.
A second cough. A third even. A terrible retching. And then the sound no more. There before him lay a seed of his creation. Two slitted eyes stared at the monstrosity, watching the colorful winds of the cosmos dry and spread the hair to create additional stars.
Meditate to this
Drifting
origin
further
story.
away, slowly melting the mass to reveal a petite, pale form. Eee! Kitty! It cried, eyes growing wide as a grin on its face grew wider, leaping from what remained of the mass to throw itself upon the purring creature of which created it. Such a glory to behold! It had hands to pet and nails to scratch. Verily, this one is made of pittance and has thumbs. So mote it be can has life. Reaching out with its massive paw, it spoke. Go forth, my child. Spread to world with quiet and glitter and easily distracted madness. K-yay! Crying out as it was swatted from the darkness into the growing universe, creating off planets, stars, in clumsy rocketing fashion. There would be fables to tell of a creature with hair of ever-changing color that spoke of hedgehogs and dick jokes, with highly restrictive requirements for sacrificial offerings. Many years it has slept, but no longer the call of waffles in gluten-free form and MIDI MP4s from retro video games has awakened her. Prepare yourself for Shark.
You're the... Rated R. Yeah. Are you the spawn
Prepare yourself
of
for
a cat's furball?
Yes.
Shark.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
A cosmic kitty's furball.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
I was hoping for Nyan Cat. I was totally hoping for Nyan Cat. I feel...
You know, I didn't even think of Nyan Cat.
I feel like Neon Cat
You had a
it was
cat
that cosmic cat.
flying
Yeah.
through the cosmos.
That
And then
No,
you were
it wasn't
talking about
even flying through
rainbows,
the
the
cats.
colorful clouds of the cosmos.
I think Shark is just Young Cat in human form.
Don't make her sing the song. Please don't make
No,
her
no,
sing
no,
the
no.
song.
I'm gonna make it do shit. Okay, guys.
Technically, I had two origin stories, but I had a little assistance on picking which one I should actually read.
If we have the viewership to do it, if you guys are here today, this here in my hand is the Mass Effect trilogy on 360. I'm going to try and give this away to you guys today. We'll do it at about 45 minutes-ish.
Are those still in their wrappers?
No, these are used. These are from our dear friends at the Sci-Fi Factory, who are awesome and kick-ass and hosted a wonderful show for us over the weekend.
And who happens to be
nice.
sitting over here in the corner behind
And
me.
who's in our audience, our live audience.
Live
today.
Say hello, studio
live
audience.
studio audience.
If you guys have a 360, you'll be able to play the Mass Effect trilogy. If you have an Xbox One,
Now you can play
by
it.
the time this arrives at your house, you will be able to play the first one,
Yep.
and probably the other two then down the road.
Yeah.
They did release the first full list of
Full
backwards
list.
compatibility games.
104 games.
You-
and it is a very...
You really need to play the first one anyway because your save
Yeah, start
file is
with
going
number
to go through all three games.
it is a
So,
very bad
yeah.
list.
It could be better. There are some notable.
Oh,
You remember-
Steven,
Misses
It could
on it.
be so much better.
You remember when the 360 first came out and Penny Arcade did the thing with the backwards compatibility, had that little what game did they figure out? How did they decide what games to first make for backwards compatibility? And they
wasn't
had a
it,
little room. And like, what games would you like to see first? And then there's a bunch of little kids in this little force room where they're playing with little toys like Barbie Horse Adventures, Barbie Horse Adventures, and then there's Gabe going Barbie Horse Adventures.
That's awesome.
Well, what cracks me up is, I was reading Reddit today,
Yeah.
and everyone was commenting on the list, the backwards compatibility list, and a bunch of people were saying, this list is terrible, and a lot of people were hating the list because it is a really shitty list of games that really...
Can
There's
we
some
can we
shit
find
on
the
it.
list because I haven't seen it.
Oh
yet.
yeah, I'll find the list. But
Okay, good.
it
I'll let Truck peruse it.
yeah, what the thing about the list is, it's games that there's like a few games that people want to play on it. The rest are people, they don't really give a shit. And and then somebody got on there and was like, "How dare you? Like, they did this for us, you know, blah blah blah."
How
And
dare you complain about free shit?
yeah, how dare you complain? And then someone was like,
Steve Ballmer died for your
yeah,
sins.
somebody was like, somebody else rebutted with like, "We pay for everything, you dick." Like, shut up. We can complain because we give them money
We do
all the time.
all the time, every year. Some of us.
Well, yeah, multiple times a year.
So here's the thing that I really noticed. One of the things that I liked was that Mirror's Edge was on the list.
Mirror's Edge
Okay.
is on the list, yeah.
One of the things that I didn't like was that Halo Reach is not on the list. But it also makes me think that they may be up-resing it for the Master Chief Collection since they put in ODST. And ODST is not a Master Chief game, so maybe they're going to throw Reach into it also.
Steven, they're not doing anything that we want them to do.
Okay, that's true. That's fair. It's a fair assessment.
Speaking of Mirror's Edge, we went to the what was it? The Extra Life 24-hour marathon.
Yeah.
It was out in Plano.
And then you went to a Mavs game, right?
And yes, and then we were going to go back because there were video games there, but there were also board games.
Yeah.
One of which was a card game.
Analog recreation.
Analog recreation, indeed. One of which was handmade by one of the people who was there. There were only 2 copies of this game. And then we were going to go back and grab it, but we got like super tired because, you know, we wound up sitting through the second half of the Mavs game and then sitting in the parking lot for like, what, an hour trying to get out?
Hey, game guy.
Ew.
You're in.
Welcome. Hello again.
You
Game
came in
Guy.
quick. One of these days, I was talking with Game Guy over Twitter earlier. One of these days, we need to talk about superhero shows.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have sort of maybe do some research, do some viewing. I want to be able to talk about Gotham, Shield, Flash, Arrow.
Constantine,
Is that canceled?
technically.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, we could.
Okay.
It still counts.
Don't even bother going through this whole list. You guys can look up the list if you want.
Constantine got
There's
canceled?
there's
I think that they're trying to have other people pick it up.
Okay.
They just try to put Constantine in, I think, Arrow or
It
yeah.
did go in Arrow.
All right. Well, for starters, if you're watching this out there, Extra Life, we're sorry we didn't pick it up. We still want to pick up the game. Crystal, you're still interested in showing it off at the Sci-Fi Factory.
which game?
The game is called Le Parcours, and this.
Is it a board game?
The French
It's,
art of
actually a
running
card game.
away.
The French art of running away, really prettily, in fact. And it's designed by a former free runner, and he wanted to share that experience with people who may or may not be able to free run, but kind of want to. And so he created like
You could free run if
this free flowing kind of card game thing.
Not me.
And so he was playing it at the front desk with the lady running the registration, and we were talking to him about it, and we were going to go and pick it up.
Okay.
Which brings me to the second point. If we go and get this thing, which I really want to, because this game looks fucking awesome. But if we go and pick this thing up,
You wanna stream it?
I want us to stream it.
Okay, we can do that.
I totally want us to stream.
I've got some practice videoing tabletop games.
Yeah,
a little
and,
bit.
Remember, we did an episode where we played Love Letter.
Yeah,
That was fun.
we did a podcast of Love Letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there, the list has some notable things that I
So why
like.
haven't we done something stupid
Why
where
haven't
we make snarky commentary like a towelful boyfriend or something retarded?
We did. We have a series that actually we haven't done in a while called Twitch Riff, and it's sort of like Mystery Science Theater, but
which
we're playing
I totally
video
want to
games.
be in on that.
We probably need to do that.
Well, we did like 8 different episodes, but we didn't have the sound down. Now we have the sound down.
Yeah.
So now we could do that. That's a thing we could do.
Oh my God, Steven, what are we doing?
I'm telling you, I'm just look.
We could totally
We do
do
this
it.
one step at a time.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that Angry Cuddles does during the week. And so if you guys wanted to, say, start a stream on your own, it didn't necessarily have to include me, where you could use the stuff in game. You could totally do that. That could be totally a thing that you guys, I'm happy for you to do.
I think I'm going to be streaming Fallout tomorrow.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would
I
be
think
Because
I
I'm
am.
going to be playing it
'Cause I'm
anyway. I
gonna be
might as well
playing
do
it. Might
something
as well
with
just
it.
stream it.
There you go.
But well, here's the thing. This
That'd be
list,
awesome.
this list is going to grow. It's 104.
Yeah.
They're going to roll out updates.
You know what?
Probably
Well,
every
they've already-
few
If-
months.
These
there
are
there are enough really good games on this list.
Those are the new ones
Oh,
coming out.
the next
the
ones.
next
Wait,
couple of
hold
months.
on. Oh, wait. I think that was Halo Reach is there.
Yeah, Halo
and
Reach
Halo
is there.
Wars. Holy shit! Wait, go back. That's the information
Jesus!
I did not have yet.
All I have to say
Okay,
is
the whole
if,
BioShock
if they're putting
series,
out some shitty games now, they're going to get enough flack about the games
But
that
see,
people
that's
actually
the-
want, and the next update should include some of those
I mean,
titles.
Which
I went through
it does,
half
actually.
of the. I went through half of the alphabet, and it looks fine.
No.
I mean, yeah, you got some crap games, and then
There's
you
some
got
crap
some
in there.
good
There is some-
classics.
There's a lot of arcade crap in there.
There is a lot of arcade crap in there.
Assassin's Creed 2,
No. There are some things. Assassin's Creed, Mass
Banjo-Kazooie,
Effect.
Banjo-Tooie, Beyond Good and Evil,
First of all, discount the rare replay stuff.
Yeah.
Because all that stuff's already available. on Rare
Castle
Replay anyway.
Crashers,
All of that's arcade
Condemned?
stuff. Condemned, that was a good
Dirt
one.
3.
I'm
Ooh,
down
I'm
for
actually
Condemned.
really excited about
Doom?
Condemned.
You should play the shit
Doom
out of
I
that.
2,
really want to.
Fable
Yeah.
2,
South
Fallout
Park.
3.
Dude,
Stick of
some
Truth.
more
All
Fable.
three, all of
Okay,
the Gears
stop.
of War.
I
Speaking
don't want to
of
just
which-
read a list of games on the podcast.
Speaking
That's
of
boring.
which, Fable is probably one of the things that's most related to what we're actually going to talk about
Yeah.
on the other thing.
Yeah, we're
It's
going to jump.
true.
Yeah,
We're going to
the
jump
one that
into
was
that in just
supposed
a
to
second.
be a really good,
Yeah.
big
But
deal out
the
of
other point that needs to be made about the backwards compatibility thing that you guys are all going to get in like 3 days for Xbox One players is that all of the games with gold will already be backwards compatible from here on out.
Oh, that's really cool.
So
Yeah.
you'll get your Xbox One games with gold, and you'll also be able to download the 360 games with gold on your Xbox One.
That's cool. I'm into that.
That's
Okay.
fucking
There you go.
sweet.
Well, I've been doing the backwards thing. I don't have an Xbox One yet, but every time they update the games for gold for the Xbox One, I go and go, oh, free, click.
Oh, you get the license?
Oh,
yeah.
fuck yeah.
Good call.
That was your idea,
It
dude.
was, yeah. You guys should have been doing that. Should have listened to me. Okay, let's start slow. What's your guys' favorite? No. Let's do this. What was the first RPG you ever played?
What's your
The
favorite?
first RPG I ever played.
Yeah, if you can remember.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
On the Super
The
NES?
Super Nintendo, yes.
And tell me about how that came to pass quickly.
Well, they made Final Fantasy 1, and then they made Final Fantasy 4, which became 2 here in the United States, but they dumbed it down because they didn't think American audiences were hardcore enough to play the whole thing. And then they decided maybe it was even harder than that. So they made a really dumbed down version. They actually called it Final Fantasy USA. And then when they ported it over here, it was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and it was literally on rails. Like, you had no free-flowing anything on the world map. You couldn't really go anywhere.
What made you want to play it when you were a kid?
My uncle let me borrow his Super Nintendo for about a week before I finally owned one of my own. And he had Street Fighter 2,
Yep.
and he had Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. And when he gave it to me, he said, just push A lot, which pretty much
More
was
or less
it.
got you through the game?
Yeah, and then I found other ways to play the game, and that's when I started getting into RPGs. I found the original Final Fantasy on the NES, and I immediately fell in love with that. And as soon as that happened, I was like, I really dig RPGs.
All right, Will, you're up.
So this is the first or the favorite?
Your first, El Primero, the one that busted your role-playing cherry.
El primero juego.
Then it was probably Golden Sun.
Ooh, for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance.
That's a classic,
Yeah,
too.
that I remember being a wee lad and playing that game. And
You know what? Here.
holy shit, it was so much fun. The story was fantastic.
Was it just one that you just picked to play sort of randomly?
My buddy who we gamed together. We were big into GameCube and holy shit. You have that right there?
It's on
I
my
have
You just
a
pulled up
Game
Golden
Boy-
Sun right in my
I have
face.
a Game Boy Advance emulator on my phone, and I have both Golden Suns.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Both
Yeah.
Golden Suns, 3 Final Fantasy games. I have Pokemon Sapphire.
If you guys have
you so
iOS,
much.
if you guys have iOS,
Yeah.
then I'm sorry, because if you have Android, you can get some really powerful emulators.
Yeah.
Sort
Open
of
source, motherfucker!
the GBA, obviously anything PlayStation and earlier works really well. Like you can run a full straight up PlayStation 1 game on this
Really?
phone, and it will run beautifully. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So
Hate you and your
anyway,
hate.
But yeah, so it was during the days of Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
which
I remember Animal
which I
Crossing.
adored, and I just love
Fucking
games
love
like
Animal
that.
Crossing.
But yeah, Golden Sun, the kind of just, I think the story and the magic drew me in, and it made me like fall in love with kind of, being a different character and going on their quest. It was just awesome. It was beautiful.
I'm glad that you mentioned that at the same time as you mentioned Animal Crossing, in which you're trying to be as close to yourself as possible in a town filled with talking anthropomorphic animals.
Game Guy says, I have the Pokemon Emerald Randomizer. Get on my level.
The Pokemon Emerald Randomizer?
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it's an emulated version of Pokemon Emerald that randomizes shit.
Shark, what about you?
Yeah. I know you
Probably-
played an RPG.
I have a lot of the ones that I can actually, it wasn't until more of my younger adult life that I actually can start remembering some of them. I didn't have a game system when I was in high school.
Okay.
So probably, I know I did Final Fantasy 11 online.
Me too.
Some Pokemon.
Am I the only person that didn't play it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess so.
As well
Fuck that
as a little bit of World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Yep.
What were you?
I did both Troll and Blood Elf.
And we're going to talk about this specifically on a different day, but did you guys watch the Warcraft trailer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did.
Doesn't it look like fucking shit?
No.
No.
Doesn't it
Actually,
look
looks
like-
pretty cool.
It looks pretty cool.
You're
It look-
just a cynical
No,
son
no,
of
no,
a
no, no.
bitch.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
all.
saying that it's not going to be fun or that
Yeah.
it's not going to be a likable film. It
Right.
just looks like ass.
Oh no, it does look like
It
ass.
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah.
it's intended
Quality-wise,
more
yes.
towards the original. Whenever it was World of Warcraft was a little bit more like
When it was just
Diablo,
Warcraft.
when it was just
Yeah,
a
the overhead was Warcraft.
Yeah.
tower defense type
If I don't
thing.
hear a character in there say "Stop poking me," I'm going to be very, very unhappy.
Well, what I'm stoked about is the main character is played by, God, I can't remember his name, but he is the lead in Vikings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I love him.
I just remember thinking that CG looks like shit.
Yeah.
Those sets look like shit.
Yeah.
We may very well love the shit out of that film.
To
Yeah.
be fair, it's a teaser trailer.
Well, it looks
No,
like
they released the whole trailer.
no, it's a full trailer. It's
Yeah.
2.5 minutes of liquid shit.
I
and
did watch it, but I watched it on my phone, so I couldn't actually see how shitty it was.
Okay. So
Well-
you're not a cynical son of a bitch. You're an elitist son of a bitch.
There you go.
So just real quick, my last night
You're a
we
fucking
were
hipster.
I was feeling like shit, and so we were I was laying down.
No,
in
no,
the
no.
living
If
room.
he was a hipster, he would like it because nobody else does.
Right, and then not like it when everybody else starts
Correct.
liking it.
I liked Warcraft before it was cool.
So
It's still
You're
not
lame.
cool.
my girlfriend goes to Netflix and she decides to throw on a show.
Yeah.
She throws on a show called Rain, and it's quote unquote about Mary Queen of Scots and her going to France.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens to her there. And I was watching it, and I was like, it's not like the show is like the worst show in the world, but it's not good. It's almost sort of like the CW wanted to do Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and it was a fucking CW show. It is a fucking
CW show, yeah.
And so I was really proud of myself for calling that. Anyway, back to the RPG thing. The first one I ever played
Yeah.
was Final Fantasy IX, and I was in college. I was more of an action
Took your ass
gamer.
long enough.
I was
I was already in the military.
I was 17. That was my freshman year in college, and my friend Mark was like, "Look, he worked at Blockbuster. He said this is a game that's new. Final Fantasy came out. Everybody loves the Final Fantasy series. You should play it." I said, "I don't play RPGs. I don't like
Fix
them.
that.
I don't like. I was talking about when we were playing Mass Effect. I don't like spending time in menus. That's dumb. We have video games for video reasons. So, yeah, just going through all that shit was really boring to me. But he said, okay, look, just play through the story. We'll go through it with the Prima strategy guide. I will sit and literally tell you exactly where to go. So he navigated and I played, and we didn't play the game so much as just coast through the story. But the story was so good that I started to then go back and play 8 and then 7 and then so on and so forth. So 9 was my first one. And since then, I still have sort of that problem with RPGs that I don't like. But especially Western RPGs, I get a lot better. Dragon Age, the Bethesda games, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Those I dig because they take the depth of the RPG without making me read.
Right.
There's also a lot of different cultural differences that
A whole
they're
lot.
Oh,
going
sure.
to be
For sure.
included or not included there that make more sense.
That's kind of what started turning me off from the Final Fantasy series was they became they started to define the JRPG, and then as it went on, they became less RPG and more J. And it was like, you're really starting to lose us.
Viewers, what's the first RPG you ever played that you remember playing?
Yeah,
Game Guy, Naname,
hit us up.
Anybody
I
else
see
in
this.
there? I want to know the first one you
Game
ever
Guy,
played.
looking at you.
And or your favorite. So what's your favorite RPG, Chuck? Narrow it down to one. I will allow you to say a series, but I really want you to just pick one game.
Oh God, go fuck yourself! I can't
I'm gonna
do
guess
that.
it's a Mass Effect game.
I'm
gonna guess it's Mass Effect 2.
Actually, no. I think I know this answer because it's not just my favorite RPG. It's one of my favorite games. It's Earthbound.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
straight up. It's
For sure.
Earthbound.
How did you
I
not
like that
even
store,
mention
too.
that the first time?
What do you mean?
It wasn't his first.
Yeah.
It wasn't his first.
He was well. Naname says Zelda Skyward Sword. Yeah, that's an adventure game, but it's very heavy. Zelda's always had a very heavy RPG element to it.
You know,
I will
games,
accept that.
The games are starting to have more and more RPG elements because it draws them in. I mean, look at Borderlands. You have randomized loot. You have leveling.
Oh yeah,
You have
the RPG
customization
elements. You can. It's actually very hard to find a game that does not have RPG elements in it. Fucking Call of Duty, Titanfall, like those games, you level up.
Yeah, it's any kind of like character advancement. Then from the beginning, you're nothing. At the end, you're a god.
Yeah,
and it's pretty much all games are like that.
so Earthbound, that's a good one.
Earthbound.
Favorite Will.
Oh,
I know this is tough.
Phantasy Star Online.
Fantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was
Did you play it on PC or on the Dreamcast?
I played it on the. It was it Dreamcast or GameCube?
It was on GameCube
I had
as
it
well.
on
You're right.
GameCube.
Yeah.
And I played with like a bunch of my buddies, and we had a fucking blast playing that game. For like 2 years, we played that game, and oh my god!
It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Steven in
By the way,
Final Fantasy
Pokemon is an
11.
RPG.
Pokemon's
Pokemon's
totally
for sure an RPG.
Absolutely.
Game Guy says Sapphire, and Mass Effect 3 is his favorite so far. Good call, Game Guy. What would you say your favorite was, Will? You said Phantasy Star.
Phantasy Star Online.
If they brought that back, would you be like balls to the wall?
Yeah, they were supposedly gonna bring Phantasy Star Online 2.
Are you sure
from
you can
Japan.
find the space
Interesting.
in your heart for Phantasy Star Online
I can't
after
right
it has
now.
been replaced by ESO and now Fallout 4?
Yeah, I can't.
You're a big Bethesda fan, right?
I'm a
Like,
huge
that's-
Bethesda fan. Huge. I just love it. I love the openness of their games. I love the choices that they give you.
Between if you had to play,
Mm-hmm.
if you had to choose between these two kids, let's say Skyrim
Mm-hmm.
or Witcher 3.
Skyrim.
Wow, really?
Yeah, for sure.
I could have sworn that was going to be a harder choice for you.
The thing is, I love playing games where the character is created and I'm playing his story. But like I was saying, I think earlier when we were talking, nothing thrills me more than creating my own story.
Yeah.
It immerses me so much more than finding out what happened to Geralt of Rivia. I want to know what happened to Rook and Blood Moon.
From Game Guy, I don't think of Skyrim as an RPG. It's more of an adventure game. And then he goes on to say, you can't kill any of the important characters. 4 out of 10. Okay,
Yeah.
2 things. One, I have witnessed this guy in Morrowind.
Oh yeah.
He has killed several
So
important
Morrowind,
Yes.
Morrowind allowed you to
Yes, it
really
did.
role play. And here's the thing: this is the issue that I have with Zelda, and it's that Link. Actually, people say Link doesn't talk, but Link does talk. We just never hear it because
Right.
he communicates with people all the time.
He tells so many people.
We
his
never
name.
hear it, but because they don't just go ahead and fucking voice him, I'm told that this is an sort of it's Zelda is the retelling of sort of ancient stories, and you're supposed to, in sort of classic verbal, as people pass on these legends and stuff, you're supposed to pour yourself into the character. By giving Link a voice, it would remove immersion, and I'm the opposite, and I'm sort of the opposite of you, Will. If I have a character without a voice, even though I'm choosing what they say and stuff, without a personality, then I can't get into that, which is why Skyrim, on top of the fact that no matter how much shit I accomplished in Skyrim, nobody ever gave me the respect that I deserved.
That's true.
I was the head of the I've told you this before.
Yep.
I was the head of the fucking Thieves Guild. I walk into the Thieves Guild and I bump into someone and they go, "Hey, fucking watch it." And I just
Yeah.
turned and I dragon shouted their ass right into the sewer.
Oh, yeah.
This treat
It's
me like
true,
crap.
yeah.
One thing that I have always appreciated, at least about the Zelda games, or where you don't actually hear the character vocally speak, is that it kind of does to some audiences let them put themselves into that slot.
Sure. Oh, I'm not saying that everybody is that way, but for me, I need a character like Shepard who has a voice, has a personality. The Inquisitor, even in Dragon Age Inquisition, where they're actually speaking. I'm choosing what they do, but that's more immersive to me. I care more about that character than
Which goes back to
than myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what you were talking about, I think, last week, where you said what you wanted to see in a game was you wanted to voice your character.
Yeah.
So your immersion very much requires a physicality to it.
Yeah.
You need to feel as though you are in the world and that the world is literally interacting with you.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, you say that you care more about someone else's story than your own. I think that that's a perfect jumping point to go into morality.
I do want to know Shark's favorite RPG, though, because we didn't get to her yet.
Katawa Shoujo.
What?
Actually, didn't do mine either.
Probably I liked Pokemon Soul Silver a lot.
Yeah.
And I also I really want to go back and finish playing the Four Heroes Final Fantasy game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Four Heroes?
I just accidentally forgot the title.
A couple of RPGs that I want to mention. I noticed a lot on the podcast, I ask you guys questions, and then I very rarely actually answer it myself.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of my...
Heroes of Light. Sorry.
Heroes
That's what
of
it
Light,
was.
yes. Yeah.
Final Fantasy 1?
It's a version of one, I think.
Yes, it's on the handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 1. Which, okay, if you want to finish that one, how about you and I sit down and play through that one? That would be fun.
My second favorite RPG is called, and I rip on this series a lot, the Tales series, but the Tales of...
Symphonia?
No, not Symphonia. Shit. Tales of Vesperia.
Tales of Vesperia.
Tales of Vesperia was on the 360, and the reason that I loved it is because I've been playing through the Tales series, and they're all shit. They're all crap. And this is something that we were talking about on Saturday, which is a lot of JRPGs now, the tension in the game is that the world is about to end.
Yeah.
But because we've saved the world in countless video games before, that is no longer tension. I need character and personality and to care about them dying, because the world itself I don't give a shit about. Anyway, so that's one thing that I have against JRPGs.
Although, you know what, for some reason, has always made me care about the world ending? And it's like normally, unless they do it this way, I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It was even like in Kingdom Hearts, the darkness, right? They just wanted to just make the world nothing, right? They wanted to cover it in darkness, and it was kind of scary in that way. And I wanted to stop them from doing that. Right?
Oh, just because they were creating nothing.
Because they were creating nothing. And even in like the movie Neverending Story,
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
That is another one of my
Fantastic.
favorites.
Yeah.
And even in Neverending Story, the nothing was coming to destroy their world, but it was turning it into nothing, and that like frightened me as a child. So it's like I've always wanted. I have to stop the world.
Emptiness, the void.
The void. I
yeah,
have to
that's
stop
an interesting
the
fear.
nothing.
I have
so
to stop it.
in Tales of Vesperia, you have they focus more on character than on the world, and I really appreciate that. A couple of things that really got me about that game is the sort of positivity and the sort of natural do-goodery of most of the JRPG heroes is really annoying. So there's a scene where the main character, they sort of capture one of the main bad guys, and they take him back to town, and one of your party's like, we should kill him because he's just going to get off because he's a big politician. And so we're like, no, that's not the right thing to do. And so they take him to town, he goes to court, and he gets off because he's a big, rich politician. And so the main character slips out in the middle of the night, finds him in an alley, and butchers him. And I was like,
nice.
I was like, holy, I was not expecting that. And so that was the first thing. I was like, oh, that's fucking amazing.
That's why I have a hard time with a lot of video games, is because I don't want to play a good guy. I don't necessarily want to be the hero. I like the anti-heroes.
And so
I am Paragon all the way.
He's like, I know what needs to be done, but I know this group that I'm with is sort of trying to do good. So the group has to maintain a certain reputation. So I'm going to sneak out and do all the shit that needs to be done.
Yeah, no, my thing is that sometimes humans are just meat bags and they're taking up space.
Cool X91, thank you for joining the podcast. We're talking about RPGs. We're going to give away the Mass Effect trilogy on 360 in about
You called them
20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Meat bags.
bags.
If you stick around, and we will be giving that away. If the viewership is pretty low, you have a really good shot at it. I'm gonna
Query.
yeah. But
Have you played Knights of the Old Republic?
I have not played it, but I have had someone explain it to me in some of the different scenes, and that is one of my favorite things that they have told me.
the
Exclamation. Oh, you should. It is quite good.
I've heard.
It really is.
Knights of the Old Republic is also one of my favorites.
Confirmation.
Actually, yeah,
but
I have it
those
on
words
my
are
iPad.
correct.
You need to play it. It's a little dated, but it's still playable. It's really good. The other thing about Vesperia that got me was that it was very much undertone, but the main character's gay, and they don't outright say that. In fact, it was so under the radar that the guy that I was playing it with totally argued with me about it. I was like, "That's cool that Yuri's gay." He's like, "No, he's not." Oh yeah, the whole point of everything he's doing is he's trying to follow his best friend around, and they have this sort of love-hate rivalry, and they will sword fight and then collapse in a field next to each other.
So
I'm like, they're definitely.
They're tsundere.
I don't know that term.
To sun, to
Sun.
sun being that they're very cold and put off, whereas dairy is more of the nice, warm, lovey thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a more common phenomenon thing in anime and a lot of the Japanese culture where they'll come up cold. I didn't make this lunch for you because I like you, baka.
Well, he argued with me through the whole game, and then after the end credits finish, there's this sort of sketch of Yuri laying in bed and that other guy coming in through the window, and I was like, "Come the fuck on now, look." And he's like, "Okay, you might be right."
You might be right.
But my favorite RPG is Final Fantasy X. I think it is one of the best told stories in video games. I think it utilized the medium really well, and at the time was very personal and meaningful. I thought that Yuna was one of the best characters in RPGs to come along in a long time. So, Final Fantasy X, that's mine, my favorite. Okay, morality systems. Are you guys light side, dark side, and some of you, we already know the answer, but
Gray,
chime in
mostly
anyway.
towards dark.
That's a tough question.
I'm
Yeah.
a scavenger. I kind of have to live that way.
In
You
between.
could be a scavenger and still have a fucking conscience, all right?
I do
Yeah,
have a
it's true.
conscience. I'll feel guilty about it later, but at least I'm
Man,
not dead.
I'm going to feel bad about shooting you for your ammo tomorrow.
You know, I'm going to feel bad about shooting you anyway, but at least I tried to talk to you and try to conduct business like a civilized human being.
Oh, no, I would try and do that. And then if I'm not getting what I want, whenever you're not paying attention, you're going to get a knife in the ribs. I'm just saying.
I'm more of a kind of a lovable rogue.
Yeah.
Bit of a maverick, bit of a Han Solo.
There are
type.
so few games that let you do that.
It's true, man, and but that's why I love Bethesda.
Star Wars The Old Republic lets you do that.
It's
you can
true.
be that sort of womanizing, jokey kind of character instead of just being the guy that either sends the kittens to college or steps on their necks. Hey, that runs pretty well there on your iPad.
Don't fuck with
Knights of the Old
cats.
I'm
Republic.
playing it right now, literally.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with cats.
But
Small animals, no.
Elder Scrolls 6 be a good or
Okay.
bad guys. Yeah. So in Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
There's not a morality system in Elder Scrolls. There is in Fallout.
There is, and people react to you differently the more heinous shit you do.
Yeah.
As
Right.
you wander the wasteland,
I
the
think
more people
one of
you help.
the first games I remember actually seeing where there was a morality system was the Fable series.
Yeah, and this is the thing is Fable touted their morality system as like a revolutionary new thing in video gaming, and they built it up, and then the game was delayed to the point where Knights of the Old Republic beats it to the punch. Now, in Fable, no matter what you do, the tagline for that fucking game was like consequence and living with consequence.
Yeah.
But you can just pay money and reset your fucking alignment.
Yeah.
In Knights of the and Knights of the Old Republic comes out before that. Does this light side, dark side thing, which sort of fits with the the kind of Jedi that you are. They make it part of the story. The alignment is very much ingrained to the story with very distinct outcomes.
Yeah.
And if you start on a path, like, you can't go back and change that. I mean, you can change your mind and go from there and go a different direction.
It takes
but
a lot of effort to make up for going one direction and then deciding you want to go to another one. You have to make up for it.
Yeah.
So-
because Fable, it was always the same outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, you would just look different at the end of it.
Right.
Well, you
And
either
people
had
would go, "Ah," when they saw you.
Yeah.
Or they'd go, ha, ha, ha. Which was literally it.
and then you get to punt chickens.
And then you get to be chicken
Chicken
kicker.
chaser.
Chicken chaser.
So
Chicken
the morality
chaser.
system only works if you can't reset it at will, to me.
Right.
And
Okay.
the other thing, though, is
All
that
right,
it's usually so watered down.
Let me tell you about this one. There was
Yeah.
a Flash game came out a couple of years ago called, I think, 3 Days or something like that. And what it was you were a scientist and you were trying to prevent the destruction of the entire world.
Like you do.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
And you decided what your character did every day. Because
Yeah,
you
each day it got
like,
closer into
you-
the world,
you
and you
could-
could like repair your relationship with your wife or something like that.
yeah,
Or spend time with your
daughter,
family.
actually, you were trying to repair your relationship with your daughter.
That's what it was.
Or you can, basically be a workaholic and work your way through trying to find the cure to this world-ending disease.
Yeah.
Or you can just give up and go have fun. Or you can find a mix between the two. But the thing is, even if you went and deleted the cookie from your computer, it still remembered what your decisions were.
Yeah.
So you could play the game right now. You could decide the fate of the world, and then you could go back to that game like 2, maybe even 3 weeks later, and you can see the progress of the world since those decisions. You can't make any more decisions past that last one, because
But you
after-
can see what occurs after.
you can see what occurs
Interesting.
after.
Well, I think just like in real life, the decisions you make on a moral level, it depends on whether or not you care truly.
Yeah.
And I think if it's gonna matter to you in a game, then that world better be damn good enough that you care about
the
these
cause
characters.
has to be something that you're actually passionate
Well,
about.
not even the cause. It could just be the world. I mean, with the cause in the Mass Effect trilogy was, the same thing. I'm gonna save the galaxy, whoop-de-doo. But the world, holy shit, the fucking universe, just everything about it. Like, I fell so much in love with it. Like, I need to save this world because I genuinely care about it. Not just I as a player, but I as the character. I as Shepard. There was for about a week they had a couple of posts on the BioWare Facebook page leading up to N7 Day on Saturday, and they were asking them, what does N7 mean? And one of the developers actually said that. I can't remember what she said exactly, but then she said that's the phrase. Me as a character, as a player, and then me as Shepard. I'm like, holy shit, that makes so much more sense, and I didn't even think about that. That can actually feed into your morality too, because you're wondering, would my Shepard do this? Is this my Shepard deciding on this decision, or is this me deciding it?
I like when the morality system is there but invisible. I don't want to see a meter.
Oh yeah, no way.
That takes me out of it.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those, like I said, where it's like you stumble across 6 orphans, would you like to give them some money or set them on fire? And those are your only 2 choices.
That's
It's like,
where I have a problem, because
fuck is this?
there needs to be that middle ground, because I don't necessarily
there
want to
need
be
to
Your
be-
middle
completely
ground
evil.
is you back
There-
out of the conversation and walk away and go do another side
well,
quest.
even less so than a middle ground. There needs to be like, you can give them all your money, but if you give them money, it's gonna it's gonna bankrupt you, and you'll have to start or you can go buy them and not give them money, but you're a dick for doing that. So there has to be some sort of actual, I feel like, incentive.
But do you care? Do you care about the character? Do you see those orphans and you go, they need this money more than me? Because if it does make you feel like that, if that game does make you feel like I need to give these orphans money, then they're doing a damn good job.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There have been a few games where it hasn't even been a good versus evil thing.
Yeah.
But just the choice, and this happens in Dragon Age Inquisition especially, where they're like, all right, what's your choice here? And I just put the controller down. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know.
that has happened to me
anxious.
twice.
Yeah.
Both times in a BioWare game.
Actually, funny enough, while it wasn't a morality issue, one of the things in the background for not the latest Assassin's Creed, but whenever they're in France, we would watch Fox play his video games, and Mel knows quite a bit of French, and she was like, "Aw, Because in the background they were talking about he was so young when he died, and they're talking about this in French, and it's the NPC conversations.
God, now I wish there was an Assassin's Creed in Germany now.
So this is what I liked about
Well,
the
just
Old
wait for
Republic.
World War II. Eventually they're going to get there.
Oh, so the Saboteur then.
In Star Wars: The Old Republic, they have a light side, dark side, but they also, the things that are light side are sometimes impractical, and and so
They
you
even go into that.
you
In
really
World
have
War
to
II.
Yeah, I can't be that good. I'm not Superman.
No, all right. Here's what happens.
Wait. Let Steven finish. I think he was on to
Okay,
something
in KOTOR 2,
He
they
knows where
do
I'm going
something.
with this.
Well,
Yeah.
I said the Old Republic. In Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO.
Oh, okay.
In KOTOR 2, they did a good job of, this guy asks you for money. If you give him money, then Kreia tells you, like, hey, you just gave him money, but he went and took that money and did something really shitty with it, and
Nope,
he killed somebody.
He gets robbed.
Yeah, I know the specifics. I'm not getting into. I'm saying generally,
You
she
need to
tells
go
you.
into the specifics with this.
No,
because this will actually determine. Like,
No,
that
no,
was,
no, no,
that was
no.
the whole
Chuck,
point.
Chuck,
You-
wait,
all
wait.
you did was delay the
Chuck, let
inevitable.
him finish.
That was the
The-
whole issue.
Heal, boy.
the specific.
No, this
of-
time the specifics actually are important.
No, but that's what I'm saying is the
Sorry
consequence
for being
is
loud.
not necessarily what you intended them to be. It doesn't matter if he's robbed or if he kills somebody.
In this particular instance, yes, it does.
What-
Because Kreia was trying to tell you that what you were doing you thought was going to be important
Right.
and meaningful.
Yes.
And then it turned out all you did was just delay the inevitable.
Right, but
As
that,
opposed to
that
you
is
were
what I'm
helping
saying.
somebody who is actually really
That's what I'm saying.
bad.
That's what I'm saying, though.
No.
Is I agree with you. The point was that you tried to do something good, and that is not what happened because you were just thinking altruistically and in the moment. What I'm saying is the actual story of what literally happened in the game. I got the heart of what was supposed to happen without telling everybody what literally happens in that specific mission. So
I still don't think you got that thing. Of course, this is you not really caring all that much about the story because you're paying too much attention to the characters.
what?
They are the story.
They are the story in a BioWare game, yes, but he's still paying too much attention to the characters because he's not really paying attention to the plot. And you were focusing on the plot, then yeah, there's that.
The plot of the game is not that the guy gets robbed. The plot of the game is that if you try to do something nice, it may have a consequence that you didn't think through,
Like real life.
which is the plot, which is the point. So I'm trying to get the point across without going through line by line of what specifically happened in that specific instance. And I think I got that across. But in Star Wars: The Old Republic, you will do things. You can be, for example, an Empire, like on the Empire side, and still be a good guy. Like you're not just an evil douchebag because you're working for the Empire, or even because you're a Sith. Like you can be a Sith and want to help people, but your alignment is different from your morality. Does that make sense? Not alignment.
You
but
can be a Sith, but you still want to help people.
yeah, you can be like, you can go through the Sith training. You can be a Sith, but have sort of
Be more of
good-
a gray Jedi than a
yeah.
black or white side.
It's what I'm saying is they're not just gonna be mean for mean's sake. And likewise on the rebel side,
You're not
you
going
can
to
be like
slaughter all the Ewoks.
you can be for the rebellion or for the Republic. I mean, and be like, okay, well, we're gonna have to sacrifice these people because it's the only way that the rebellion's going to gain any ground against the Empire.
Okay, so let me ask you this one. The
Sure.
first Knights of the Old Republic, one of the missions that you do is you go to Kashyyyk, and there is a Wookiee that has been exiled because he has broken a law of the Wookiees, and the Wookiees are super duper lawful neutral, which I really want us to go into character alignment before the end of this night.
Okay.
They are super lawful neutral. Like, you do not break their laws. It does not matter if they make sense to you. It does not matter if they're good laws. You follow their laws. You follow their traditions. End of story.
Team Alpha Wolf Squad, thanks for joining us.
And hey, good to see you again. So what happens is you go and you find this guy and you realize that the reason he broke one of their laws is because had he not done that, his entire tribe would have been like assassinated and just wiped off the face of Kashyyyk. So you bring him back to face a proper trial amongst his super tall furry
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
peers, and then they're like, okay, he's made a really good point, but you, Jedi, you seem like you're pretty up on these things. What do you think we should do?
Burn the witch.
And the options were he needs to die because he has broken your laws. He needs to continue his exile because at least then he can still fight, or welcome him back into the mission. Welcome back into your fold. And when I got to that point, I personally actually set my controller down on the floor, got up, walked downstairs into the kitchen, made a sandwich, and sat there. This was the most solemn and contemplative sandwich I ever had in my life.
And that's something BioWare is really good at.
Jade Empire. Holy shit, Jade Empire had one of the coolest lines ever right there at the very end. They were about to give
Nathan Fillion was in that game.
Total control over the world. And one of your friends says, no, you can't do this because if you do this, all that power is going to go to your head. Like, no, if I'm in charge of the world, then I could help these people. Yes, you may still be a good tyrant, but you're still a tyrant. And as soon as he said that, you're like, holy shit, you're right.
Is this the help that they actually want?
Yeah.
What
about you guys?
I'm putting it away.
Morality systems that really worked for you guys? Ones that you really got into?
It depends on how much stress it brought.
Yeah?
If it brought me a lot of emotional distress, in instances like that, if that was continuous, I would be like, nope. Cool game, but I can't deal with the stress of the pressure of
I'm
that.
sure
The anxiety of world building.
No, literally, I'm sure your anxiety is just like flared up and shit like that.
Yeah, Team Alpha, I still have, actually, I don't know if I still have it. This, Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's for, especially for a free to play game.
Don't
solid.
let your brother hear about
Yeah,
that
I know,
because
but
he will totally drag you into that.
I hear the latest expansion's like really awesome. It's got fantastic reviews. It makes me want to play it again.
To my knowledge, you can play it for free unless you want to play specific classes.
No, I think all the classes are available, but they have
Species.
I think not all the species are available, and you get like a bigger inventory, and you can carry more shit on your ship and little shortcutty things like that when you pay.
Wait, you get a ship on that game?
Yep.
Yeah, you have your own ship, and
Can you fly around space?
yes,
Yes. You can even
it's not free roaming.
battles too.
It's not free roaming?
It's not free flying in space. It's like when you go from
Bullets.
here to here, you take on space missions, and you then go into like a dogfight, sort of a semi-on-rails dogfight battle to complete a specific mission.
No,
It's
if you
like
want
a roller coaster.
If you want traveling through space and getting into space battles and stuff like that, might I suggest EVE Online?
No way. Hell no.
I've heard
Yeah,
awful
this is
things
pretty-
about
Yeah.
that. No
The
thanks.
only-
It's going to be
only-
really fucking.
The only thing that
in-depth.
I think truly did space travel / planetary, travel and all that in between right was goddamn Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah,
Are we still online?
yeah, we're still there. So far as I know, everything looks good.
But as morality goes,
yeah,
I was just faced in Witcher 3 with I had killed a monster for this guy, and I'd given him a set price, like it was going to be 254 coins.
yeah.
For me to go hunt this monster. And it was kind of a bitch to kill this monster because a lot of things in Witcher 3 are completely OP.
So how important are coins?
Very important. Very important. In fact,
Because
you
you
never
need
really
money.
have enough for anything. So
Okay,
it's like you need
254 coins is a big
money.
fuck-off deal.
Yeah, it is. And it's a lot for them because everybody in Witcher that's not you is poor and you're very poor. So you can only imagine how poor that the NPCs are. So
It's like North Korea.
yeah, there you go. So I kill this monster that was a total bitch, and I come back to him and I say, as Geralt, I say, I'm ready for that fucking coins, man. I need them. And he goes, oh, about that, Witcher, I'm so sorry. I can give you half now. And then your options are like, fuck off. Like literally, it says like fuck off.
Yeah.
And then like a couple more that are like, all right, I'll be back in a week for that other half, or you better give me what you got now or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And I sat there, and then he gives me this sob story about his kid, and I was like, and
Man.
Geralt doesn't give a shit.
Don't care.
Yeah, Geralt doesn't give a shit about any of that, right?
Yeah.
As a Witcher, and I'm even reading the books, like, kids will come ask him for help, and he's like, fuck off, and like keeps going. That's just who he is.
Out of the way, you.
Yeah, but hearing his story about his child made me like, all right, can you come up with the money in a week?
So that
Fine, I'll come back for it. And I did. And I came back in a week in game time.
And he had it.
And he had the money for me.
Okay.
So that goes back.
And he even doubled it.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the you as the character or you as yourself. At what
Yeah.
point is Geralt no longer making the decisions for himself, and you're making the decisions for him.
Right. See, I felt like that was a mixture of, because to me, when you're playing those characters, when I'm playing as Geralt, I'm not playing as Geralt. I'm playing as his subconscious. I'm playing as
You're his conscience.
I'm his conscience. Yeah. So when he has to make a decision, I'm going, oh yeah, you should do that way. You should lean this way. You should lean this way.
How many times have you just sat there going, "Oh God, damn it! Why do I have to make these?"
Need to have soccer puppets
so many
to
times.
play the angel and the demon.
And the great thing is when you still you have time to choose whatever he's going to say. There's some times where it prompts you like you need a quick decision because somebody will be like,
And that's the
Alpha
thing
Protocol?
about the Telltale series
Is it's
or
all
in
quick
Alpha
de-
Protocol
it's quick
actually
decision.
is that you
got the bar.
Yeah, it's you can't go make a sandwich. You know,
Right.
it's time to decide right now.
Yep.
But there's sometimes that you can in The Witcher, like he'll be at a bar talking to somebody and they ask him like, where did you come from? When you're kind of trying to be incognito about who you are,
Yeah.
and you can answer certain ways, and it just the camera sits there on Geralt and he goes, and he does it, and he'll do that forever if you let him. But then you can choose. But then there's sometimes like, a guard will come up to you and be like, "Are you the one that was messing about in the blah blah blah? Well, you're gonna die." And then you can either be like, "All right, then let's do this," or no, and you have like seconds to choose, and it's really great.
That's fantastic.
I always try to kill them.
One of there was what was it? I think I wrote a note. Just a second. I think I have it in my notes. Oh, Infamous. Infamous had a one of those sort of fuck you moments that I really enjoyed, which was they had a morality system, and your powers depended on whether you were a dick or a nice dude. And so you could heal yourself
Nice
if you
guy
were a nice
Cole.
guy, kind of like in KOTOR, but you were way more destructive if you were outwardly an asshole, like needlessly an asshole to people. But then there comes a point in the game where you get jokered, and I'm gonna spoil this for you guys. I apologize. Infamous is an old game.
It's
so here
been
we go.
out for more than a year.
The bad guy, who turns out to be you from the future, and I'm not kidding, sets up this decision that you have to make, where you have to either save your girlfriend, who you are sort of on the outs with. You're trying to repair that broken relationship. Your girlfriend is on one building, and 10 doctors are on another building. And so they're like, what are you going to do? Everyone's watching you, and like cameras are on you.
You know what? She doesn't like me anymore. I'm going to go save the people that'll actually help people.
Well, I was like, oh God,
That may help people.
I've been trying so hard through this game to like to try and fix that. I'm sorry, I've got to be selfish, and so I go to the other building. I start climbing it because there's a sort of crackdowny kind of climbing, scaling. And I get to the top of where I think my girlfriend's going to be. And it's the 10 doctors, and then there's enough time to turn around and see the other building explode with her on it.
Oh, so
where
Batman,
he Dark Knighted you and switched him, and I went, oh fuck you, game. And then I wanted so bad to go back and start from a previous load, but I was like, no, this I have to live with this, and I played the rest of that game with a monumental amount of regret. Which I loved, which was the point. Game guy, it's over now. And Dragonfly asks from the chair over there, how close are we to 100 followers? We have 82, 83.
Oh,
so
snap.
We need more. We need more than that. It's been a little while since we've had a new follower. So if you guys are watching and you haven't yet, please follow us. When we get to 100, Shark and I are going to wear a dress, and these fine gents are going to wear
Suits.
Yeah.
Steven,
Tails.
will you wear
And
a
boots.
wedding dress?
No.
Will you find a wedding dress from a
No.
thrift
I'm sure
shop?
I could get,
I've got to
maybe.
be the one that sits next to him, dick.
What do you
I
think?
want
What's the wedding
ruffles.
dress gonna do to you? Give you wedding?
Yeah.
Are you gonna catch wedding from the dress?
I'm gonna be over here, like getting super comfy with Will.
Crystal's shaking her head. No.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
And-
I have an idea for games, especially RPGs.
Yeah.
That's gonna revolutionize how you feel about the characters.
I already fucking love it. Let me hear it.
Here it is. So, especially in games like Bethesda that really care about character customization.
Okay.
What they look like, what they sound like, everything.
I think
They
that's
love
where
it.
the most anxiety comes from for me, is trying to start with a character.
Well,
God damn it! How are they supposed to look? I can't get this right.
so like,
Excuse me.
you get to be you, right? And you're thrown into this world
Mm-hmm.
with these characters that you come across that you're supposed to care about.
Yeah.
You're supposed to care about what happens to them. but you don't know these people.
Actually,
You don't know-
what might be interesting is if you can pick
Sure.
pictures of yourself and family.
Sure. That's where I was going with. So, like, imagine you're creating your character, but then it gives you the options for, like, 3 other main characters that are essential to the story. And it has a little background underneath, like, this is the, love interest character, blah, blah, blah. Because let me tell you, if I was playing Skyrim or whatever I was playing, and the person I was trying to save looked
Actually
like Bree and was
something
named Bree and all this stuff, oh my God. I would be more inclined to like want to save them.
I do like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea quite a bit.
Okay, I got one for you guys. You brought up Crackdown. I'm going to spoil Crackdown for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the fact that Crackdown is not a game that's supposed to be spoilable, because all you do is gangsters down there kill they ass over 3 islands.
In Crackdown, you're actually supposed to kill gang members if you come across them and they are driving. The only thing you know about them is that they are gang members. They are not actively breaking any laws, and you are supposed to slaughter them. Like, it's like the only thing you know is that they're in a gang, so blow up that fucking van, I guess. It's terrible. Game Guy says, Chuck, I'll give you $5 if you take Steve Garter off on stream, maintaining eye contact at all times while remaining straight-faced. That's a thing on the thighs, right? Yep, the garter.
It is.
That's right.
That is
you
the
got
thing.
that exactly right, Game Guy.
That is the thing.
And I was not in for the wedding dress idea until right this very second.
Oh, God damn it!
But Chucky, you have to take it off. Chucky, you have to take it off with your teeth.
It's a really good idea.
You go fuck yourself. You go fuck right off.
You got to take it off with your teeth.
No.
Fucking breathe.
No.
You do. Chuck, it's
so
part of
good.
it.
God damn it.
It's like tradition.
So we are just moments away from trying to give away the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm going to start with something that really pissed me off, actually, about Mass Effect.
Spartan.
Yeah, Spartan, really. Really.
Yeah.
No, Game Guy, we'll do it for fucking free, man. You don't got to give us money for that shit, dude.
Blow
We'll
me.
do that for
I'm not doing this shit for free.
free.
Yes, you are.
You'll do it for the show, and you'll like it.
Technically,
I will do it for the show once the show starts paying my ass.
Technically, if he blew
It'll be
you, wouldn't
wild.
that be a form of payment?
It would be. Well,
They're going to
can
consummate
be.
the wedding afterwards.
Yeah, we have to do that.
God.
Anyway, okay, so here's something that when Mass Effect was being before the first game came out and they were describing it, they said that the morality system in the game wasn't good or evil. It wasn't light side, dark side. It was Paragon and Renegade. And what I mistakenly thought, and where they missed the mark, and I love Mass Effect, but this is where they missed the mark for me. They should not have built the Paragon and Renegade is essentially, are you nice or are you a dick? That is essentially what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking when they were describing it was, oh, I see. It's Paragon and Renegade. It is, do you follow the orders? You know what I mean?
Right.
If someone puts you in a mission, and these are the mission parameters, and you do really shitty things to people because that's what the mission is, then you are Paragon. You're a Paragon soldier. You are, the best Alliance Spectre, whatever. If you are Renegade, you could be doing very positive things for people by going off script. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that was going to make it very interesting to me. It's like, oh, do I want the favor of the council and the people that are running the show by getting shit done, or do I want to sort of break the rules and go against orders to do something right?
That's hard for me, especially with my past military service.
Well, that's
Paragons
interesting.
break orders too. Project Overlord. You were sent to destroy the thing that the project was creating, and you needed to destroy it because it was a very, very bad thing.
Yeah.
Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. They were trying to control the Geth and use them as a weapon. But the way they were doing it was they had an autistic guy hooked up to a supercomputer where they were using his weird brain power to control the Geth because he was the one writing all the code that they were going to use for it. And who was responsible for it? His fucking brother. His older brother, who had been watching over him his entire life and just got sick of it, decided to Rain Man his ass, hook him up to a computer, and go, hey, here's Project Overlord. This could do something.
Yeah.
So you had to destroy that. You had to destroy it, and you will eventually destroy it one way or another, but it's a question of how you do it. If you sit there and you kill the autistic guy, then yeah. If you sit there and kill the autistic guy's scientist dickhead brother, then that's another option. Or what I chose to do was I let the autistic guy go, and he went to Grissom Academy. This was a Mass Effect 2 DLC. And then I saw him again in Mass Effect 3, and I nearly fucking cried when I saw him and his theme picked up in the background, and he seemed like he was doing a whole lot better. I'm like, fuck yes, I made the right decision on that one. Because another thing I did was I walked up to his brother, and I put my gun right there next to him. I said, we're taking him to Grissom Academy. And if I see you get anywhere near him, there is a bullet in this gun with your name on it.
C4.
That was the Paragon response, was if I see you near your brother, I'm going to fucking massacre you.
And see, but that's still like doing the right thing as opposed to following orders.
Doing the right thing, like...
Which that should have been Renegade.
You actually changed your mind on this because a couple of years ago you and I had this discussion about what was Paragon and Renegade, and you actually liked the system because you were still going to complete the mission anyway. It was a question of just how you did it. If you did it by discussing things first and like, well, I tried talking to this guy and it just didn't work, then I'm going to get into a firefight. That's the only way I'm going to be able to finish this mission, but I'm still going to finish the mission. Or it's like, fuck this, I'm tired of talking, bam, mission complete.
My personal role play was the mission comes first because of the way that I was disappointed in the way that the system worked out. But my feelings on the Paragon Renegade have actually stayed the same. I actually wrote an article a few years ago that's on Angry Cuddles about what I thought it was going to be and how it should have been. So I like the idea of how you're going to finish it and there being a Paragon Renegade version. And if the mission gets done one way or the other, then I feel like that's all Paragon. Renegade is like, okay, so they ordered me to kill this guy, but I can't do it because he's just a kid. So I'm going to, complete the mission, quote unquote, by just sending him away and telling everyone, or you know what I mean?
That would have gotten you Paragon points.
Right, but not completing the mission, not doing what they told you to do should have been Renegade.
Your definition of Renegade, yes.
Yeah. To me, I think Renegade should be going, what I was hoping Mass Effect was going to do was Renegade was go against orders.
Right.
Regardless of whether it was the right thing or the wrong thing to do ethically.
So you're... Okay, you just don't like the title of it.
Well, it was the way that they had sort of pitched it. Ulfric's Warborn. Hello, senpai. Welcome.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
That's actually Cameron.
Oh, is it Cameron? What's up, dude? Welcome, Cameron. Hey, Cameron, follow us. Don't forget to follow us down there. Okay, guys, listen up. If you guys want the Mass Effect trilogy on 360, which is right here, these are used copies of the game brought to you by the Sci-Fi Factory in Lake Worth, Texas.
Tested. They work.
The first one also works on
Xbox
One. So the first one will work on Xbox One. The second and third one will probably eventually work on it.
I've
but
never
certainly work
played
on
Mass
360.
Effect.
Holy shit, Will.
Yeah, never.
You need to go.
Damn, dude.
Who's the main character? Let me see the first one.
Yeah.
Who's the main character?
It's all
Is he the
Shepard.
guy with glasses?
No, it's Shepard is actually female.
Wait, what?
That's incorrect. You can be either a male or female Shepard, but when Shepard was created as a character, initially the Shepard character was written as female, and also Jennifer Hale, who voices Shepard, is 10 times better than whoever the dickhole is that voices the male Shepard. Chuck will argue with me on this.
Mark Mir.
Wait, so you can play as either one?
Yeah.
The thing is, you can make your own.
Do you switch up? Oh, you can make your own guy?
You make your own. Yeah, you create your own.
I made Charles Shepard. I carried him through 3 games.
Can you create
their
what they
face and
look like?
everything? Yeah. And then it loads from game to game. Like, it keeps your game saved from 1, 2, and 3.
I'm going to
Really?
take the Mass Effect 3 cover, and I'm going to flip it from the Mark Mir man Shep to the Jennifer Hale Finn Shep.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to get when you get your thing in the mail.
I urge you to play it as Fem Shep, or as I call her, Shepard. And I think it's much better. Chuck disagrees with me. Chuck likes the other dude. Thanks for the follow, Ulfric. We appreciate it. And we're one step closer to 100.
How much can you buy Mass Effect for these days?
You can buy the
Not a
trilogy
lot.
for like $60.
No. It's got to be less than that by now. It's probably going to be 20 or 30. It's last gen.
Yeah, it is last gen.
Anyway,
Our
if
giveaway
you guys,
for Christmas is going to be at the beginning of December.
yeah, Spartan, our giveaway for December for Christmas, because we do it at the first week of each month, except this one I'm doing on the second week. The first week of each month, so it'll be like December 5th or December 9th or something like that. And it will be Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain on Xbox One.
Merry
If you
Christmas.
guys want to win Mass Effect Trilogy, I need someone to tell me the date that the first Mass Effect was released. The day, the month, the year.
And he's got to look it up.
Didn't
I got it right here.
Fans got mad at Mass Effect for their ending?
Mass Effect 3. Yes.
Fans were little bitches about the Mass Effect 3 ending, sure. Yeah.
And then they rewrote the ending?
They added to it after people bitched about it. They gave it like a director's cut.
Chuck,
which,
did you bitch about it? Were you mad about it?
I was kind of on the fence of it. Actually, I had this discussion with your brother, with Daniel.
Don't tell me. Because
Yeah.
I
No, we won't.
No, we're not going to tell you.
ruin it for
What
you.
happened was the people complained that after 3 games and your save file being transferred from game to game, and thus your decisions in game 1 and game 2 affecting what happened in game 3.
Yeah.
All of those decisions were rendered entirely moot.
They felt.
So what BioWare did was they said, we're going to make the director's cut where we will give you a little bit more option, and then we're going to make it available for free.
Ulfric wins it. Ulfric's
So
got it.
Well, shit, we're not even going to have to pay shipping.
Yeah, you got it, dude.
You could just bring it to your house.
We're going to. Since Shark knows you, then I'm just gonna send it with Shark, and she's gonna give it to you, so I don't have to ship it, and that's gonna be the easiest thing to do. Play this fucking game. It's really, really good. And Game Guy, you take yourself out of the running for these things, and that's very sweet of you. But in December, I hope you all are going for Metal Gear Solid 5 because it helps us out when you're all doing the stuff, the giveaways. Anyway, so we're gonna send those with Shark. And yeah, so I understood people being kind of like let down, kinda, but thematically and everything, it all makes sense. It's all I enjoy. It was a satisfactory ending. It's not like it went through every single one of your decisions and was like, here's how all the little, because you see the results of your decisions throughout the course of the game. A decision you'll make in Mass Effect 1 will have an effect in Mass Effect 3. They didn't ignore that. It's just they didn't all come together at the exact same time at the end, and that's where people got frustrated. Except that, and here's my little asterisk, is that Game Guy Metal Gear Solid 5 will be on Xbone. But we are showing PS4 love next year in 2016. We'll be giving away Minecraft on PS4 in February, and or maybe that's March. I can't remember. And then the other month, we're giving away a $20 PSN gift card for the PlayStation Network. So that's up there too. Stay tuned for those. But yeah, there are decisions that I made in Mass Effect 1 that they sort of kind of ignore even in 2. And I won't ruin it for you guys because you guys are going to be playing it and it's fantastic. But Chuck, there's a decision that you have to make near the end of Mass Effect 1 in terms of how do I do this without spoiling it?
Just do it.
Say where it is so that I know what you're talking about.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But there's a decision you make near the very, very end of the first one, and in the second one, it's like, "Hey Shepard, go report to the council." And I was like, "What? Why the fuck did they ignore that?" And it's not that they ignored it; it's just that they don't really address the fact that your decision that specific decision didn't end up making much of a difference. Sorta. And anyway, so I got a little frustrated going from game to game, but overall, the ending, very much enjoyed. So, Ulfric says, we have the internet. This is not a battle of wills, it's a battle of bandwidth. The fight for free stuff. One of the things that you guys can really do to help us out is to follow us on our social media stuff, which is up on the top right of your screen up there. And sharing us with someone. We definitely need the followers. Our giveaways and stuff, we want you guys to take part in those because it helps us grow. So share us with somebody, like us and follow us, especially on Twitch and on Facebook. For Metal Gear Solid 5, you guys are really going to want to like us on Facebook because it's going to incorporate you posting on that page. So like us on Facebook to get a head start. on the Metal Gear 5 in December, and it'll be the first week in December that we give that away. And I'll be really excited to give that to you guys too, because that game is like, seriously, if you just play the missions, like the missions including the side ops, but without a lot of fuckery, if you're just going mission to mission,
Fuckery
that's
is my
like
favorite.
Fuckery.
that's like 150-hour game probably.
As opposed to fuckwittery.
Fuckwittery. Also, this episode marks the first one in Phase 3 where we argued, like,
you don't
and
have
not
to
just had
follow the
differing opinions.
Facebook.
Like we were like, no, blah 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 blah, and that's so rare.
Because we were discussing video game morality, and you and I
We get heated about this shit.
I have always considered you to be far more cynical for your own good, and I'm sure you just think of me as just the
Cynical.
biggest, cuddliest Boy Scout, you know?
I do get a little bit of Boy Scout from you,
Yeah.
to the point of, so here's sort of a Knights of the Old Republic 2 sort of version of a real life morality choice. That if do you mind me telling the story? Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't.
Do you-
but
it's- do
tell
you
the
remember-
goddamn
It's
story?
just-
Because
When
we
we
already
went-
built it up.
When we went to the closed Mexican restaurant that our friend owns,
Cantina.
that his uncle owned.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
I know where you're going with
Okay,
the
do you
story,
mind if
but
I tell
that's
this?
not a morality choice. That was not a morality choice.
This is a BioWare choice that
It was
okay,
a BioWare
here's what
choice.
happened. One of our
this
friends,
was the invisible morality meter that you were talking
one
about.
of our friends, his uncle owned a Mexican restaurant, and we all got drunk, and he had a key to the place, and frequently would go in and make food and stuff like that. So he invited us to come in. He would make us food in the back of the restaurant while they were closed, and so that nobody was driving home drunk. And so we go in. Chuck comes to join us there and parks behind the establishment in the little alleyway. Now, none of that really would matter except that my friend's uncle that night had forgotten something at the restaurant. So his uncle comes back, sees the door open and a truck parked out back, thinks his place is being robbed. We're actually all about to leave. So we all come out into the hallway, and he pulls a gun out, and he says, "Nobody fucking move." And we don't know who he is because we've never met him. We just know our friend has a key to the place that is his family business. So we all stop and wait, and we're like, oh shit, we need to get our friend out here to explain to this guy, like, that it's okay. But our friend is taking a long time coming out because he's like cleaning up and stuff. And so he's like, everybody get on the ground. And we're all sort of looking at each other, and then he fires into the air. He fires his fucking gun in the air. So
Through the fucking ceiling.
No. This is in the back of the alley.
He's outside.
Outside
okay.
the alley. So we
That bullet's got to come down.
exactly.
Yes, it
So we all lay down on the ground, and then our friend comes out and goes, "Uncle, it's okay, it's me." And he goes, "Oh, holy shit! Just next time, tell me that you're gonna come. You know, just let me know you're gonna be here." Later, Chuck is telling me his sort of version of this thing, and he said that while he was on the ground, he was thinking, "I just need him to get a little closer so I can try to take him down."
Yep.
And I said, that's the most dangerous thing that you could possibly have done. Because who knows if that gun's going to go off, if it's going to hit someone,
And who
if it's
knows
gonna
that he
hit
wasn't
you.
just going to walk up to you and put a fucking bullet in the back of your head? Because what the other morality decision was, a friend of ours was also there, and he walked up there, and when his uncle showed
he was
up
being
with
a
the
dick.
gun in his car, it's like, everybody needs to get down on the ground right now. And this guy's response was, why? Why? Because I've got a gun. Oh, I see you've got a gun. Why should I get down on the ground? Bam! Everybody get down on the fucking ground right goddamn now.
Yeah, well,
He needs a wheelbarrow for those balls.
if
Jesus.
If
No, he needs a wheelbarrow for the balls. Certainly not for his brains.
Oh, no.
so, I was not worried about him, let's say, going around and starting executing us one at a time. If anything, he, like worst case scenario in my head, he's gonna maybe take our wallets or whatever, which is fine with me if nobody gets hurt or dies. So anyway, it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, I see what you were thinking, but besides it being super dangerous, like,
Yes, super dangerous.
you
don't
understand
trust my
the rest
combat
of that.
abilities at all, do you?
No,
At
no.
all. That's
I don't
which,
trust
which
anybody.
makes sense.
I don't
it
trust
makes sense, but
anybody going up against someone who has a firearm.
There was a guy with a gun pointing at a bunch of people that I cared about, and I was like, if this guy gets any closer and nobody identifies who he is, I'm going to take the gun out of his hands and I'm going to hold it on him because fuck this guy.
I think you're overestimating your ability to attack someone with a firearm.
And the studio audience is shaking her head because she knows me.
Yeah,
This chick
I'm with
that
Chuck on this
that has
one.
known me for a year and change understands me better than the guy that's known me since 2004.
I can't
Just-
trust that anyone can do that.
I can.
I would not end up in this situation, so it's not really a problem.
Yeah, this is a hypothetical situation. How about that?
I can take the gun out of somebody's hand.
I can take the gun out of somebody's hands too because
If it is
I've done
just
it
you
before.
and them, go nuts. Do whatever you want.
So that I don't run the risk of hurting anybody?
Yes. Exactly.
What if he shoots you, Steven?
That
What if he did?
That would suck.
And what would have happened?
No, but would you have-
oh yeah, it totally would have sucked. Yeah,
I would-
we just lost one of our best friends.
I would
because
not have
nobody-
wanted you to
nobody
try to
was-
disarm him.
So
So you were willing to sacrifice one of the lives of your best friends before you realized, oh, this guy's actually serious about murdering every last one of us.
Yes, I think until he murders someone, yes, you should not do that. Yeah, that's exactly right.
that's craziness.
Because because you don't know, and then going up and disarming him is now taking a maybe to a certainty. That gun's gonna go off. Period.
No, it's not.
I feel like you guys have watched a shitload of movies.
You know what else I've done?
No, I've just been in a lot of situations.
And I've done a lot of martial arts in my life, yo.
Okay, how many times has anybody successfully disarmed someone with a firearm that was trying to hurt them?
I've disarmed somebody with a firearm.
I
that was trying to
believe
hurt me.
that. I will believe that because of your line of work.
I've also had to brandish my gun on many, many people. I'm not afraid of firearms. I'm
Not
not.
either.
I'm not afraid of the outcome of them. I could get shot, but I'm gonna protect people.
Because you and I understand firearms.
The thing
we
is-
get
But Chuck, what training do you have that gives you the ability to disarm somebody?
in between the years of martial arts training that I've had,
From
let's see, well, the dad started teaching me when I was like 5, and then I started doing actual classes when I was about 8. I continued doing classes through high school. During that time, I was also doing firearms training, and
they
then-
teach you how to disarm people in these classes?
Yes, they did. Yes, go ahead and fucking laugh, but they did.
No,
They taught me how to
no. Read Ulfric's last comment.
Just take the overtly sexual route, man. Don't shoot me; they'll give me a boner. No. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people just don't fucking like freak out. Like, are you actually gonna be turned on if I shoot you? Oh, totally.
Right.
Like, I will need to pull your pants down and go deliverance on your ass.
So-
figuratively and literally.
If the dude, okay, here's the other thing. If the dude's like, I'm about to kill all you motherfuckers. Go. Yeah, absolutely. You should try something. If there's like an active shooter situation or whatever.
Nobody's ever
Go
going to
for
say,
it.
I'm going to kill all you motherfuckers. They're just
Now-
going to pull the trigger, pop somebody
But
in
see-
the head, and that's when you know they're serious.
But then you can obviously take that situation apart. You guys were in somebody's restaurant after hours.
Right.
It was a Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
You walked out. The guy was Mexican.
No.
He wasn't Mexican.
He's
No.
a white dude.
He was a white guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the owner
Okay.
of the. It doesn't matter what race he is, though. He's still the owner of the Mexican
He's the
restaurant.
owner
Well,
of the
it
establishment.
can matter because you can deduce easily that if the guy you're hanging with is a Mexican, his uncle comes out as Mexican, you're at a Mexican restaurant, and you go, well, he could.
Oh, you mean
this could be his
establishing
place.
the
Yeah,
relationship, you mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you guys weren't in the right place. You guys shouldn't have been there.
Right.
And so when the guy comes and says, get on the fucking ground,
I got on the fucking ground.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But
Wow, he's got a gun. I don't want to get shot.
Initial compliance is usually a good idea, and then figuring out where you have an advantage
Which
is never
was
bad.
Precisely where I was.
And then it got diffused.
Because somebody finally identified the person who's like, okay.
How long did it
this is-
take?
Oh,
the whole thing was about 2 minutes or 3 minutes long.
No, you aren't, game guy.
Man, these firearms run this country. Game guy. Call 'em your tits. Okay,
Hey,
so
there you go. There is your morality issue. Right
yeah, we
there.
went on a wacky tangent there.
And again, that
But
further
there's
describes the difference in morality between you and me.
Yes, I feel like you're endangering other people by doing that.
Okay. And perhaps I was, but at the same time, I would rather run the risk of endangering people's lives than absolutely know that I'm endangering people's
Yeah,
lives.
but that was the point, though. Is
The only way that, to me, I would interfere in a situation like that is if I knew they were gonna do something.
Which is why I was thinking, if this guy gets any closer, I'm fucking going for him. And I'm talking like if he put I was lying face down on the ground, like kind of like this, so that he could see my hands.
Yeah.
And if he got close enough to my hands, I was gonna grab his ass and pull him down.
But this is the whole point, though, is that you were mistaken.
No, game
because-
guys.
I didn't know it at the time.
I know that's my.
I
that
didn't
is
know it at the time.
that is
Somebody
exactly-
needed to get their ass out there and identify
no, right.
themselves.
That's exactly my whole point. Is you didn't know, and we were all fine, and you didn't know that, and you would have made a judgment call that would have made that gun go off because he was going to defend himself.
How do you know
if
it was going to go off?
He would have defended himself if you had attacked him, which is what you were doing.
Okay, cool. That's expected, but you
Right.
who was he going to shoot? Is he going to shoot some random person? Or he's going to shoot me?
Either one. As if you're laying on the
I'm
ground
not
and you're
okay with
grabbing
people
him,
shooting my friends. I'm perfectly fine with people shooting
but that's
me.
that's my whole point. Is that one of us might have, and you probably would have, but you did not know enough about the situation to make that call, which
And
you were
you
prepared
did at
to
the
make.
time?
Yeah,
And
I
you
knew that was John's uncle.
And nobody fucking bothered to tell anybody any of this?
Okay, well that's yeah.
Wait,
we'll
wait,
pass
Steven.
that information
You're
around.
gonna-
Wait,
Look, let's-
Steven, so you knew that was his uncle?
Yeah, but he doesn't know us. Like he didn't know me.
Did you say
I'm the new guy of the group?
at any
Nobody
point
wants to
did you
fucking
say we're
identify
John's
anybody
friends?
to me anymore.
Everything was happening really quickly, so no.
Jesus.
I didn't. We were all.
So you're going to sit
In
here and tell me,
compliance.
oh, you made a bad decision because you didn't know all the information
And
you
on
didn't
that
bother telling me
note-
all that information?
You
On
were
that
not with
note-
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
No.
We were all right there lying face down on the
I think
fucking ground.
this has gone way too
Way too
awry.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Let me
I
remind
think here's
you.
here's what I'm going to say. You both made very poor decisions on
It
that
is-
situation. Steven, you should have said, "We're John's friends. Chuck, chill the fuck out." And Chuck
Thank
should
you.
have chilled the fuck out.
And
Yes.
Chuck would have chilled the fuck out, too, because, like, oh, okay, well.
Okay,
all right.
we're not asking you for past tense chill. We're asking you for presence chill.
I think that for someone who's never had a gun fired upon them before, just compliance and calm was the perfect response.
Which I had.
And John comes out like moments later. It's going to get resolved. I'm not going to yell at everyone. And also,
I had a knife pulled on
stuff
me once.
happens so fast.
Well, first off, had it been me in that situation and the guy pulled the gun and he shot in the air, I would have shot a web right in his face.
Yeah.
That fast. It would have
That's
been
how
lightning.
that works.
And he would have been like, "What is this?" And I would have been like, I'm fuck you." And then I would have shot him with more web.
Game Guys' podcast is now 10 times better.
Would you have made
More
the,
drama.
More drama.
Would you have made the,
we
the
need
web death
we
mask?
need more drama. Yeah, I would have made him the death mask. He couldn't breathe. Dead
Oh, well,
instantly.
I've got an axe in my car.
I should have just.
I
they
haven't.
should just
She
fight.
has an axe in her car, too.
I should have just used my
What's up with
nunchucks.
you weirdos with axes in your cars?
Why didn't
It's
I use
for my brother.
my nunchucks?
Don't
They're
you
there.
people get it yet? I'm prepared for combat.
Usually I have a
Jesus
machete.
Christ.
I think that if I had ever seen you like use some sort of self-control, I might have more trust in that. we used to do this. I know we're supposed to close. I know this has gone on forever.
Yes.
But we had a sparring club once where we used these big foam swords, and we would sort of do.
You know what? That was self-control. You know why that was self-control? Because I was trained for kill shots, and though they said don't go for the head, I instinctively went for the head because that's what I'm trained to do.
Yeah, that's no
Shoot to
self-control.
kill.
That is plenty of self-control. That's muscle memory.
Yes, that's not self-control. That's muscle memory.
Wait, did you attack Steven?
He hit me in the
with
head
with
multiple
the fury
times.
of 1,000 gods?
Even though we were like, here's the rules, just don't hit anybody in the head.
And you hit him in the
And he
head?
hits me in the head. And so I was like, hey man, that hurts. Don't hit me in the head. And he's like, okay, sorry.
And then he did it again.
I'm used to hit, and then he did it again.
Chuck?
And I was like, hey man, I understand that you, I guess, are trying to go against whatever formal training you have, but if that's something you can't do, you probably shouldn't be out here swinging stuff at people.
Shouldn't
He's
swing
like, I
foam
got
swords."
it. And by the third time, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to get hit in the head again.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think I just think that you guys shouldn't be breaking into Mexican restaurants anymore together.
We had a key.
Unless you're going to be very cohesive about what you're going to do together if the situation goes awry.
Oh yeah. Well, we were mistaken that our friend had alerted his owner relative to the fact that we were there.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have that information.
Because I feel like in a situation, if you guys were running from a murderer and then there was a tree branch about waist high, Steve would go, "Let's duck," and then Chuck would be like, "I'm fucking jumping," and then you would both just fall, like crash into each other.
And I would be short enough to run under it. So
Exactly. And then I would come slowly walking up behind you because I was the murderer. Twist, plot twist, boom.
No, Chuck wanted to don his hat.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's sick of me ragging on him.
Pick one.
Okay, Chuck, come in here. Chuck is like a brother to me. I've known him for, like, what, 10?
Steven, just
12?
Just tell
11 years?
Just
04?
Just do Chuck a favor and tell him that you trust him with protecting your life.
I will.
He doesn't.
I will when I do.
He doesn't, and he never will.
No, that's not true. I will when I do. I do appreciate, though. I do appreciate that you love your friends enough to put yourself in danger.
Yeah, that's what you have to
that is
appreciate
something
that.
that I do appreciate.
You have to appreciate that.
I will appreciate that.
Chuck, I appreciate that of you. I really do. Because I feel like this. Here's what I feel like.
You're the dude in the slow motion taking the bullet for JFK.
If I was running karaoke one night and some guy came in with a gun, just grudged out because I didn't let him sign up for a song or something.
Yeah.
And he said, "Today's your day, long hair." And then he comes to kill me. And
I'm jumping off of that
Well, yeah,
stage.
he's
Chuck's going to
He's
jump
in
off
his
the
ass.
stage.
He's announced himself.
He's announced himself.
Monte.
Yeah.
Even if he does, if Chuck sees him with the gun,
Yeah.
Chuck's going to jump off that stage and he's going to come with a hammer crash down on the guy's top bone.
Fuck that.
Hulk
We're talking.
smash.
We're talking turnbuckle body slam. Just bam.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
And I love that. I do love that about you, Chuck, and I appreciate that about you. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy talking to people,
I do love you,
would
man.
Like to make sure that in the process of them talking to me, they're not going to try and blow my fucking face off.
Yeah.
And that goes double for the people I care about, you know.
I can appreciate that. I put stock in that.
And so if somebody draws a gun on my friends, as I have just now proven, in fact, I will at least be thinking about how I can get that gun out of their hands.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam, Bam.
Yeah.
No. Not Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm the big fucking show.
So here's what I'll give you real quick as we go.
Yeah.
If I'm walking along and someone comes up behind me and pulls out a gun and you try to tackle them or whatever, that's awesome. I'm down.
Okay.
If someone pulls a gun on me and says, "Give me your wallet," I don't want you to do a fucking thing because I want to give them my wallet because statistically speaking,
intentions-
he's
I'm
going to
just
leave.
telling you, don't hand it to him. Throw
Throw-
it far away from you, so that he goes after the wallet and you can go the other direction.
What if he goes, "Did you just throw that?" And
You
you're like, "Yeah."
sack
And he
of
goes, "You
shit.
dick."
You asked for the fucking wallet. Go get it.
Well, see,
Go fetch, boy.
I'm
Go fetch.
I'm the kind of asshole. And he goes, "Give me your wallet." I'd go,
No.
"Mm-mm."
Actually, there was a
William.
Tumblr where two different people mentioned something like that. Weak ass tumblers in New York or something like that. He's like, "Give me your wallet," and he's like, "Nope, thanks," and he just walks off. And this other chick has some guy come up and pickpocket her phone, and she's like, "Give phone back now," and he does.
Fucking love it. Oh man, this
I
was
think
insane.
Chuck is gonna plan a really elaborate
lesson.
lesson. He's gonna pay someone to come hold you guys up, and then Chuck's gonna
I ain't got
somehow
that kind of money,
Mac
man.
from Always Sunny.
I do
like,
not have that kind of money.
attack
What I
her.
do have, however, is a dad who's still
Mac from
on
Always Sunny.
the.
Yeah.
He's still on the seminar circuit. He
I just
remember those of you who watched the zombie episode. I had two like trainer axes.
yeah.
I made one weapon and Dad made the other, and Dad actually makes a really good business making training weapons for the Filipino Special Forces. He's kind of out there, so yeah.
Did you, my wallet is my mixtape.
My mixtape is my wallet. How about
This
that?
mixtape is fire, yo. It's gonna get crazy.
Thanks you guys for sticking
Straight
with
fire.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran
Through
super
this
long.
absolute
this
madness.
time.
We got a little dramatic, which people like that.
It made for good TV.
We'll just get our blood pressure under control, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah. Chuck's gonna keep on giving ocular pat downs to assess the danger.
Yes, please, ocular pat down away.
In the meantime, you can hear me seething through the microphone. Just
you know, it's funny because the dynamic of this podcast has been pretty amicable, like throughout the last 24 episodes, and we had like. It used to be that John or Joseph or somebody would be so combative with you, Chuck, and so I want you to know I wasn't doing it for the sake of combativeness. We had an argument over a point, and I hope that you can appreciate that I'm not just ragging on you to be a dick.
Isn't
I'm
that
not
part of
just ragging on you
someone's
to be a dick, I promise.
I think he half
are you
believes that.
absolutely certain?
No, and yes, yeah, I am absolutely certain. I had
Shit
points to
did
make.
go
I wanted
down
us
tonight.
to. I wanted us
I-
to discuss.
Okay, let me
All right,
let me
guys.
We gotta sign off.
We need to sign off.
My name
Goodbye,
is Steven.
I
everybody.
got shit to do.
His name is Chuck. Her name's Shark.
That's Will over there.
I'm Will. Get the fuck out of my house.
Good night.